Hey everybody, what's going on? Brother John here, and thanks for stopping by my channel. Hope everybody is doing well out there. This is a video response to Sister Sunshine, dear internet friend. Um, Check out her channel, Sister Sunshine TV. Um, I'll put a link to the video down below that I'm responding to. Now, those you don't know, I know Sister Sunshine for a few years here, just on these internets. We never talked on the phone or anything, but we've done a lot of chats on Stickam and YouTube in its infancy stage, and yeah, those were really some good old days. I wish we could just pop in the Stickam, right now, and just talk about these things. But Sister Sunshine is like myself, deconverted from Christianity, uh, but missing a little bit of that church structure, and she's going a little struggle with her belief and disbelief. So anyway, Sister Sunshine, how you doing? Yeah, it's that idealism ultimately. So much I can cover and talk about when it gets on this subject. As you know, I definitely can relate. Coming out of Christianity myself, uh, disheartenment and hypocrisy in the church was not the cause of my deconversion. What actually was a lot of the questions and debates that were brought up on Stickam and YouTube, and things that had to make me question. And of course, I wanted to verify things people were saying, and answer some tough questions that atheists had and people of other beliefs. So, yeah, for me, that first main issue was the whole hell thing, and I've come definitely to terms with that. And then for me, after that was deity of Christ. So yeah, I reread reread a lot of parts of my Bible. Read parts of the Bible I didn't read before. I got into church history, and in a nutshell, what I just found Christianity to be is Judaism plus paganism, and poof, there you got Christianity. I want to recommend. I didn't read the book, but I know a video documentary just came out a couple months ago. You can watch the whole thing on here on YouTube. May I suggest go see Joe Atwill's. Joe Atwill. He wrote a book called Caesar's Messiah. Kind of interesting stuff there. So yeah, I encourage you to check that out. I know you're not much into science, too much, Sister Sunshine, but a few years back I started reading this book too, called The God Theory. Um, I think this is an excellent book, especially for a person who leans towards more atheism. Um, that's an excellent book, and I have some video. Anyone's interested? I think it's in a few parts. You have to go check my archives. They do an interview with this guy, so check that out. But Sister Sunshine, I know you say you're an idealist and like that structure, and that's probably what you have to deal with. See, what I've come to learn, I know you've gone into a little bit of the, studying a little Buddhism and Hinduism and stuff like that, and I've been reading some stuff like that. But what's really hit home for me, I'm just speaking for me, since you and I both live in this Western culture, dominated by Christianity and Judaism, and it's a different way of thought when you start looking into the Eastern religions, as you probably, you've already done. But if you look more into like Zen and Taoism, and the difference here between the cultures is that Western religion and thinking is very linear, where you have in the Asian cultures and Chinese, and what Zen and Taoism teaches is more of a cyclical, which I definitely resonate more towards. And the more I look at nature, everything is in cycles. It's always a life-death cycle. Um, so then I want to encourage you to look at the yin and yang and the philosophy behind yin and yang. Um, and I think what my advice is for you is trying to get that balance. Um, everything is opposites. Nothing, one cannot exist without the other. Up cannot exist without down. Left cannot exist without right. Good cannot exist without evil or bad. Um, and that's just the way it is. So even in your idealism and the structure that you need, um, or so you think you need, because you really need the chaos also. You do. Because if you didn't have the chaos, you wouldn't find no need for structure. If you didn't find all these things that are so wrong with the world, um, you wouldn't seek so hard for that idealism. And in Taoism, everything needs one another to exist. Everything is one. Everything is all in God. And I know that's a hard pill to swallow, especially for some Christians, to actually believe that God encompasses good and evil. Um, it all comes. Um, it all comes from Source. And when you come to terms with that, you start seeing people differently too. You can accept them a little bit more because, like in Taoism, teaches that nothing's greater than, I'm not greater than you. You're not greater than me. You know, um, Eastern religion will talk about ego, right? The ego causing our suffering. These divisions, these labels. This is what ultimately causes a lot of the pain in the world is ego. But then again, without any kind of adversity or trials, or what we perceive as bad things, opposite things, negative things, without these things happening, we would not have a desire to grow and learn. We wouldn't learn from these things. It's through suffering and trials that we do learn. We get those principles in the Bible, for sure. I can never go back to being a Christian, knowing what I do know about the Bible, and even the question of the existence of Jesus. Uh, but I can. There are principles there that, yeah, there are some truths there. But just like there's a lot of truths in a lot of different religions. And I guess for me, and maybe for you, you can relate, I come to a point where I'm comfortable not having to know it all. And I don't have to have all the answers. It's easy to do that when you're a religion Christian. Yeah, this is the way it is, blah, 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 blah. But then when you start getting the tough questions and, wait a minute. Be honest with yourself. Maybe I don't know. And that's where the struggles of faith come in. Because you're supposed to know. And if you don't know, that means your faith is struggling. That means you're a weak person. You're a weak believer and all this other stuff. And then you start condemning yourself. And yeah, I'm so out of that mess. It's awesome, really. But I'm comfortable not knowing. I always say, everybody's an agnostic. Everybody's an agnostic. Everybody has their own leanings. They'll lean towards atheism or towards theism. You have those extremes in each camp. You have the extreme atheists, the fundamental atheists, I like to call them, and then you have the fundamental Christian, and they're so dogmatic. But if they were, people really intellectually honest with themselves, yeah, you don't know. And you know what? That's okay. Because that's part of the whole excitement of life, is learning, and learning more, and learning more. Um, the wild thing about, if you get into that book, the God Theory a little, I'm going to do a couple of videos, just read a couple of segments out of there that I've highlighted. They're pretty powerful, but I'm going to try to paraphrase. Um, if everything comes from source, then, and that means that source is in everything, and you are source, okay? Having a Sister Sunshine experience. I am source, or I am God having a John experience. Now, yeah, I hear the Christians already. Oh, what are you talking about? You're talking about yourself, you're God. No. But me, John, this form is just a division. It's an identity that I and how I perceive myself, or what I've been told, and what you've been told who you are, right? These are identities, names that have been put on us. Just like a blade of grass, or a tree, or an animal. These are, we do these things, identify things, but everything has come from source. Even if you want to be an evolutionist, a Big Bang theorist, and say everything came from the Big Bang, fine, it still came from that source. Okay? Man, I've heard people saying now the Big Bang is that very two forces, the light coming into the world, um, and everything just coming out, just, and then everything evolved over time from that hitting, that 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 clash. But there's still source. What it talks also about in this book, then trying to explain a little bit about the nature of God. Like, we've always had those discussions, free will against destiny, predestination, or free will. Always that argument goes on and on and on, right? And I've come to, how can I say? In this book, it mentions that God has to have experience as well as potential. He's trying to experience the potential, and that's what's going on in us. That's the God experience through nature, through us, through everything that's going on here that has evolved. It's an experiencing process. It's realizing potential, right? I'm sorry if I'm not making myself clear, because I'm not doing the book justice at all. But God wouldn't if, say, you're kind of in God's position. I remember, um, oh God, maybe if you were, pretend you're in God's position, you're gonna know everything, and you know what's gonna happen, right? Past, present, and future, supposed to be all knowing and stuff like that. That's the concept of God in the Christian Judaism faith, right? Um, isn't that boring? Wouldn't that be boring if you know the end result, right? Or even if you could perceive the end result, but never have the experience of getting there. Maybe that's the point. Maybe they're, the source, the intelligence, knows the end game. Maybe it doesn't know it fully. Knows the potential, but hasn't had the experience and wants the experience. Because that's life, right? And if we're made in the image of God and God is life, isn't part of life is the experiencing, the learning process, realizing potential? Does God need to realize potential and have experience? Perhaps. Or else it can't be, I don't know, I can't imagine existence without that. Yeah, sometimes we would all love to have a peaceful world and kumbaya around the campfire. It'd really be nice. And I think there are changes. I think, again, back to cycles. different ages, and, talked about in all different cultures, 1,000-year cycles, whatever not. So I think, yeah, we're entering to a better era coming, because we're just in the mess we're in now. But down the road, it's gonna get bad again. And it's even my outlook on death as well. That perhaps, yeah, if energy is not created nor destroyed, yeah, this body, my body, might be destroyed, but my very being and essence and life and energy source or force that comes from source, that will not die. And perhaps sometime in the what we perceive as future, that's a whole nother topic, because all we have is now. It's just now. There's no past. There's no future. It's just now. But anyway, in a future now, maybe I'll live in another form, right? Um, and probably not remember this one. Just like I don't remember if I had any other forms. Yeah, so a sense of reincarnation. I could see the principle of it. I don't have it all figured out, but the life, death cycles. I'm not afraid of dying. Um, because and there's no fear of hell. Because I don't believe there is a hell. Um, any concepts of heaven or hell and things that we have in our mind, and we create our reality. I really sense believe that. And, I know somebody in the comments talking about law of attraction. I definitely am on that plane. That we create our reality here with the thoughts, and we're going to attract into our lives what we think about, what we feel about, too. Um, so, how can things change in the world? People be more positive. Yep. Doing more good, I guess. Being more happy with themselves. Living in the now. Because our day and age, man, how many people are suffering from anxiety and depression? And depression is always when you're living in the past, and an anxiety is when you're living in the future. The what ifs. Oh God, what's gonna happen in the future? And that's where the anxiety attacks come in. And we need to live in the now. So I'm running a little bit long here. I hope I covered everything I wanted to, because I know there was so much. When we start talking about philosophy, religion, and God, and we can go on and on, sister. But I hope I helped in some way, give you a little different perspective. So, yeah, check out Yin and Yang, Taoism, Zen a little bit. Um, Look into that movie by Joe Atwill, Atwill, Caesar's a Messiah. Quite interesting, very interesting. How Christianity is just a mechanism used by Rome to control the masses. But, well, check it out. Watch it yourself. I think you'll like it. If you want to, and also that book, God Theory. All right, Sister Sunshine. Talk to you soon. Everybody have a great day. Namaste. Be well, everybody. Peace.